Hi everyone, my name is Mai Nguyen and this is Jerry.
Hi.
Hi, we're from Aussizz Group in Perth, and today we'd like to talk to you about student visa and issues concerning student visa.
Yeah, so most of our visas are expiring on 15th March. So if anyone is out there who wants to do their visa extension, or you can very well come to us so we can help you with all the GT and extension.
Especially for those of you who have in the past downgraded your AQF level from, let's say, from a bachelor's or master's degree, and you downgraded to study at the certificate level. This time around, when your visa is expiring, it is crucial that you need to be very careful when you think to apply for an extension of your student visa. The GT component, where you need to show that you are a genuine student, is very important. So with that, I strongly suggest you come in and see us. We can discuss with you, free consultation for education consultancy,
Yes.
and we will go through with you what you need to really think about writing the GTE to make sure that you get your visa granted again.
Yeah.
So if you have any problem, we can still do the GTE for you, okay? But make sure that you have a strong GTE, or else you may face an immigration refusal notification.
And one of the most important thing is the financial documents.
That's right.
Yeah.
So for those of you who come from countries that are considered to be at the level 3, so it's a high risk country,
Yep.
then you need to definitely show financial capacity documents. The general documents would be?
Yeah, the general documents would be the financial documents. So you have to cover the financial for 1 year, your living expense, and then other documents like bank statement,
Yes.
the income proof, everything. So once like we need to check your background and everything. So like you need to come to our office to know more about the financial requirements.
That's right. So we have to we have to do the full calculations
Yeah.
to make sure that you meet the criteria. Sometimes you may not realize that the funds that you show in the bank statement may not be enough. Okay,
Yeah.
so be careful about that.
Yeah, so
It's
even
always
if
good to
like
to
just
check.
missing a simple document can have a huge impact later
That's
on,
right. Yeah. So be careful.
Yeah, so another thing is like you already talked about the downgrading, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so another one is like the dependent visa. So there are two options for dependent visa. So one thing is like if you want to go for dependent visa, it's not just a normal dependent visa. It takes like 8 months to 12 months to have a
Nowadays,
decision.
yeah,
Yes.
to get your spouse to come
Yes,
over to be on your
yes.
student visa.
Yeah, so we have another option, which is the best option. So
Yes.
what you can do is like you can relodge the main applicant's visa. So if you are going on a dependent visa of your spouse who is studying at the moment, so he can relodge his visa, and you can get the outcome within 1 to 3 months. Yeah.
That's the best way. Yes. So I note that increasingly it seems it's getting very hard to be granted the subsequent entrant dependent visa for, let's say, a spouse coming from Bhutan, India, or other Asian countries, anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And even if they waited for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, or even 1 year, they may even ended up having immigration refusal notice anyway. And so you had to go through that whole ordeal of waiting, and at the end still get a refusal. So if you don't wait that long, there's still the best way now that we've found out, that is helping a lot of our clients, is that we submit a new student visa for the main applicant who's studying here, and then showing that the spouse is accompanying.
Yes.
Yes.
The only thing is that if to relodge your visa, it can be a little bit expensive than lodging the dependent visa, but still then the outcome, you'll get it within 1 to 3 months, which is
right.
good.
That's fantastic. So
Yeah.
it's like a money-making machine for immigration, but it solves our purpose.
Yes,
It solves your purpose as well. So do consider that. Please do reach out to Aussizz Group, and we were here to advise you further how best to help you in that regard.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, you can just ask us now regarding the visa extension, dependent visa, or one thing is like tourist to student visa. We also do tourist to student visa.
So how does that
we
work?
have a very high, visa grant on that.
Yeah. So let's say for sometimes you you want to help your family member, a spouse, or even a sibling, or anybody who want to come over on a visitor visa, while they hold a visitor visa while they're onshore in Australia, so long as they don't have an 8503 condition slapped on their visitor visa grant, that means that there's no further stay. condition, which means that if they're here in Australia on that visitor visa with that condition, they're not eligible to apply for any visa while they're onshore in Australia. But that rarely happens. But normally you only have two conditions, and that is no work and only 3 months maximum study. Even that, with those conditions, you are still eligible to apply for the student visa. And we've seen very high success rate that you get the student visa granted when they hold a visitor visa onshore in Australia.
So if you guys have no further stay on your tourist visa, then you can do the you can get the enrollment in Australia while you're still on shore. But you have to lodge your visa. You have to go offshore. So you can still have that option. But the thing is that you won't be having bridging visa, meaning that you cannot stay in Australia.
That's right.
And then you won't be able you won't be eligible for AAT or MRT. You will not have that privilege.
That's right. So be aware of that. Any further information, do reach out to us by email or come in and make an appointment to see us.
I've got a few questions here. From Mehul Patel. I studied in Italy in Master in Pharmaceutical Biotechnology. Can I transfer to Australia?
Which course is that?
Master in Pharmaceutical Biotechnology. Studied in Italy.
Of course, if you want to study in Australia, then of course the normal standard would be that you apply for a student visa to be able to study in Australia. If you've studied a master's, then you could also study a master's of pharmacy over here, perhaps. And pharmacy, well, right now on the WA list, we don't have pharmacy or pharmacist as an occupation on the WA state nomination, like for the 190 or 491. But I hear, and that through the grapevine just recently, that they are the Pharmacy Guild of Western Australia have pushed the government to very soon put the pharmacist occupation on the list again. So keep an eye out for that. So this is potentially very good news for potential students who want to study pharmacy, either bachelor's or master's. You have a chance to also find PR pathway later on when you graduate.
Next question is from Johnson. Do I have to show funds for extending my student visa if I belong to a level 1 university? I am from India.
No. So if you are pursuing your studies in level 1 university, then you don't have to show any funds. So in WA, I think Curtin is in level 1 and UWA is in level 1.
Definitely. So you don't have to worry about that.
Next one is from Parveen Sharma. Is it possible to get bridging visa A to bridging visa B? Student, and he's put this in bracket. Student visa applied. My friend, he applied on Christmas and got A bridging.
Yes. So in this situation, I think it's because you the only reason why you want to apply for a bridging visa B is you want to fly out of Australia to visit your family in your home country, or you want to go on a holiday outside of Australia. You need a bridging visa B to get back into Australia. So once you come back, then after the time frame is elapsed for the bridging visa B, you naturally go back onto your bridging visa A.
Yes.
Next question is from Saeed. Hi, how long it take for visa extension process?
The visa extension process?
Yeah.
So if all your documents are in place, it just takes 1 week.
Okay.
So once it is applied, once we lodge your visa, then the standard time frame is 1 to 3 months.
Yes.
So far, I only have this one.
Okay. So going back to a little bit with the tourist or the visitor visa. So long as you do not have that 8503 condition on your visitor visa grant, then you're eligible to apply for practically any other visa that you're eligible for. So apart from the normal standard student visa, if you want to apply for a partner visa or a skilled migration visa, you're still eligible, because you hold a substantive visa.
And regarding that visa extension, nowadays the documents requirement are very strict. It has become very stringent as well. So even the simple extension, if we miss some information or documents, there's we get refusal as well.
That's right.
Even if it's just for 6 months, so you really have to be careful. And so we can assess all the documents on So the financial capacity is one major issue that you need to consider,
as a trigger that you need to be careful about in terms of providing the right documents, enough funds in your bank account or your sponsor's bank account and all that. And also the GT or the SOP, a statement of purpose in the olden days, now we call it GT. You have to write a very strong GT because you want to explain to the case officer from immigration that you are considered still to be a genuine student. So if you've downgraded, especially for students who've downgraded your AQF level from master's or bachelor's down to certificate or diploma level, you need to explain why you did that and why you still consider yourself as a genuine student. Okay, so those kind of things you need to make sure that you have a strong backup, like in terms of a good GTE. If you think that you have less confidence in that, please do reach out to us and we can guide you further.
Yeah, so one of the main TU 500 visa condition is that you are not allowed to downgrade, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so if anyone you out there who have downgraded the course and still you haven't lodged your visa, please do come to us so we can help you out.
There's a way to help you.
Otherwise, you will get a notice of cancellation of your visa from your from immigration, and then you would be allowed, given only 3 to 5 days to get back your original COE, which is not possible. Yeah, so we need to lodge your visa as soon as possible before you get any notice of cancellation from immigration.
That's right.
Yeah.
A lot of times when they when you receive a notice of intention to cancel your student visa, it's very hard for you to convince the immigration for them to not cancel. Okay, very rarely do we see success stories where they've convinced the case officer of the day enough for them to let them be. Usually, once you receive an NYCC, it would lead to a cancellation of student visa within 1 month or so. Okay.
So so once the student visas are cancelled, so
refused,
what is the process for AAT and how does we
So for if you applied for a visa extension, for any visa, and if you wait and after a couple of months, instead of receiving a visa grant for say another visa or your student visa again, instead of that you received an immigration notification of refusal of your visa application. That means that you have within 21 days to do something about it. Usually within that 21 days you should apply to the AAT. Okay, that's the Administrative Appeals Tribunal. If you do this, if you apply within the 21 days, then you will salvage your bridging visa A that you have been holding all the time while you're waiting. So with that, you'll still be lawful to stay in Australia. So once you apply to the AAT, your matter now is with the AAT. So immigration will practically leave you alone. So you don't have to worry about immigration for now, for that time. And if AAT takes 6 to 9 months to a year and a half before they reach your application, then while you're waiting, you get to still study and you get to still work part-time.
Okay, so they still get to work.
That's right. Okay. So with that, please come and see me. I can help you with that.
Yes.
I've got a few more questions if you want to take it. Saeed, who asked previous question about extension, he's asking, is PTE mandatory? He only has 6 subject left.
For visa extension?
Yeah.
Yeah, so English requirement for visa extension, if you have completed 50% of your course, then it's not required. You just have to get a letter from the university stating that you have completed this many units and you are you're left with this many units. But if you haven't completed 50% of the course, then yes, it's required.
Parveen Sharma, he's saying, continue with last question. So my friend who got bridging A, no work rights, can he convert to another bridging which can provide him work rights until student visa gets approved?
With no work rights on bridging visa, it could be that because your friend had applied for a visitor visa, that's why he did not hold work rights on a visitor visa. That would make sense, isn't that right? Yeah. With no work rights, you have no work rights until you get hopefully
for another visa for work rights.
No, you have to wait to get your student visa assessed, and so I believe it's probably visitor visa to student visa. So wait until hopefully you get granted the student visa, then you can start to be able to work part-time. Now the situation could be that after a couple of months down the track, and instead of receiving the student visa grant for your friend, he received an immigration refusal notification. That means you have to apply to the AAT. Now, with that, once he applied to the AAT, then he still gets to be lawfully able to stay in Australia, and he can still study if that was he had a CUE current and he can still study. But again, he has no work rights. Why? Because the original visa that he applied to come to Australia was a visitor visa. So when he applied for a new visa, let's say a student visa, in essence, when he received notice of refusal from immigration, he was never granted a student visa. So essentially, he fell back. He would have had to fall back onto the previous, most recent visa that he came onto, which was the visitor visa. With the visitor visa, he does not have any work rights. So there's a way around this. Let's say while you, after you have applied for your AAT, and then you keep on studying, you could essentially, over some time, apply to immigration for work rights. You may be unsuccessful the first time. You may also be unsuccessful the second time. You need to show to immigration that you are suffering from severe financial hardship, okay, for them to consider to give you the work rights.
So
it's
on
not
compassionate and compelling
grounds. So which means that you should show no money in your bank account, fees or bills you haven't paid as outstanding, and that people are chasing you for money. A lot of detail. We're here to help you with that as well, so you can always reach out to us. We'll find a way for you. Okay?
So usually for bridging visa A, whatever the visa condition you have earlier, whatever the visa condition it's there in your previous visa, so that one will continue.
That's right. So take note of that. Okay.
Next question is from Preeta. What all documents needed for the finance requirements if I borrow from my family friends in Australia? Family friends.
All right. So you may know, and you should know, that immigration a few years ago have opened up to the wider public, where anybody and everybody could help to sponsor you financially for the student visa purposes. So even, let's say, your next door neighbor could do. The only risk that you may face that if you choose like a family friend, still fine, but they need to show some form of evidence that it's a genuine kind of commitment, that they agreed to let you access their funds from their bank account to help pay for your tuition fees and your living costs in Australia. So long as you provide evidentiary documents to prove the genuine, the form of if it's in Australia, then you get a Commonwealth Statutory Declaration you can download from Googling online, and then get them to print it out and fill it in and get a pharmacist to witness their signature, and write a detail that they are willing to support you.
Okay. And another important document is access to fund.
That's right.
So access to fund, like there should be proof or evidence where the sponsor have paid the tuition fee for the student, or any transfer of money from the sponsor's account to the student's account. So that is one of the important documents.
Increasingly, I find that a lot of students had to go to the AAT to appeal to the AAT because they had the student visa extension application refused, because it was the normal practice for a lot of people would be to show funds from a distant relative, an uncle or family friend from India, or even here, but the funds have remained in their bank account. And so in the affidavit from offshore or statutory declaration from here onshore, they simply said, well, my name is this, and this is my occupation. I know Mr. Sharma, and I'm his friend, or this time I'm willing to support him financially, and I have funds in my account. He can access at any time to help him pay for the 1 year's tuition. Sometimes we feel as if there's some difficult case officers from immigration, that is not enough for them to grant the student visa for you. So increasingly find that it would be more safer for you if you can convince your family friend or family member to actually transfer funds into your bank account, but at the same time still show proof that they have provided that way through their own bank statement, showing the evidence that they've made from this date the transfer into your bank account. So there's a link, direct evidence like that, to make sure it's bulletproof, that they're willing to show, give you financial support, and that they actually did transfer funds to your bank account. Then you'll be very safe.
So whatever you mentioned in your GT or financial stat declaration or affidavit, you have to support it with an evidence or proof.
Nowadays it's increasingly harder and harder to be granted any visas, even for student visa extension. So you can't take it lightly, and so you'd really want expert advice to help you every step of the way. Okay, so do reach out to Aussizz Group when you can for this.
Next question is from Vishal Shamji. How recent do your funds have to be or dated back to prove sufficient funds for student visa?
Yeah, so normally we go for 6 months. Yeah, so it should be of 6 months.
Yeah, we would prefer 6 months.
Next question is from Donna. If the course will be changed while a visa is valid and expiring next year, should a new visa application be lodged for the new course?
Sorry, come again?
So if the course is to be changed while the visa is still valid and it's only expiring next year, does she need to...
Not required. If she is maintaining the same AFQ level, okay? So you need not relodge your visa, but if you are downgrading your education level from whatever you're studying at the moment, then you need to relodge your visa. Yeah. Otherwise, you can just lodge the extension when the current visa is going to expire.
Parveen Sharma, who was asking you about the bridging visa, he's again has got another question. My friend with bridging visa A, he was on student visa, but he got bridging A because he applied in Christmas holidays. He has only 3 units left in ECU. Can he convert to work right bridging as he was on student visa before ECU uni?
Well, okay. So did he apply for a student visa application to extend his student visa and is still waiting on bridging visa A? Is that how it probably is that? What?
Parveen, if you're from Perth, can you please give us a call at 0892213020? If you're not, then other Eastern State offices detail is in the description box.
Yeah. Please give us more details. We're able to advise you further after that.
Okay. Next question from Santosh. Do I need the valid IELTS or PTE for extension of this visa? Extension of the visa if I remain some subjects to complete?
Yeah, so as we informed earlier, if you have completed 50% of the course, you need not show your English like PT or IELTS. But if you are haven't finished 50% of the course, then yes, you need PT or IELTS during your visa extension.
Simple as that.
Yes.
Okay. Another finance related question. Mitali Gelo, does personal loan from my father valid?
Yeah, personal loan is valid as long as there's money in the account. Yeah.
So, but what is the loan? I mean, we know of the bank loan, but if it's from your father, he's not from the bank. So he either transfer his funds from his account to your account. That would be the most safest way. Yeah, and that would solve all problems. Yeah, it's a direct, like a family member that's close like that, then there should be no problem, unless you choose not to do that, and it's still okay if he still keeps his money in his bank account, but just say that in an affidavit from offshore that he's your father and he's willing to support you financially, and still would normally suffice. It's only the risk factor comes along when it's more distant relative, that the immigration will have alarm bells ringing, and then they may refuse just because they don't believe that person is genuinely willing to commit to let you access their funds. Okay.
That's all for now.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for following us today. And if you have any further queries, please do reach out to Aussizz Group, and we're here to help you.
I've got one more question.
Okay.
Miriam, I'm on a student visa taking master course and would want to extend my visa by taking masters. Will bridging visa A automatically take effect while waiting for the result of my extension?
Yeah, so as long as we lodge your visa, as long as we apply for your visa extension on the same day, you'll get your bridging visa A. Yeah. So if that's what she is asking.
So let's say if your student visa expires on the 15th of March, and let's say you've applied for your student visa extension today, which is before the 15th of March. We lodge application today. The immigration will send out an email, one acknowledgement of the application received, another email of the bridging visa grant notification. When you open that email, you will see the bridging visa A showing as inactive. Why? Because today is the 6th of February.
Yeah.
Only on the 16th of March, when, you know, after 1 day after your student visa will expire, then the bridging visa A will become active from then on.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay, that's it.
All right, so thank you.
Yeah.